Hi, welcome to episode 8 of the Yarnivore podcast. I am Sadie. I will be your host. I'm also known as Sadie Ruin on Ravelry, Blue Ruin on Twitter and Instagram. It's been a couple weeks and I apologize. It will be reflected in my works in progress, and here's why. One word. Fleas. Please. It's been a long couple of weeks, and of course, life-changing fleas. So, anything I was working on previously is currently in timeout, undergoing defleament, if you will. It's a combo attack. I was all of a sudden very grateful that all of my fibers and any yarn that is not currently in works in progress is generally kept safely away and in plastic. Gotta love Rubbermaid tubs. I never loved Rubbermaid tubs as much as I did when I saw a flea. Even not Rubbermaids, like the Container Store brands, I'm good with those. It was horrible. However, we have had 2 flea-free days, and we caught it early, we killed, we cleaned, we vacuumed, we sprayed, we bathed, we pissed off an army of cats, and hopefully that is done with. Also, wow. Try bathing a cat. They've been bathed since they were little, so they're probably less picky about bathing than other pets would be. However, still don't like the baths. And with Beetle and Frank, their underbrush, or undercoat, their underbrush, yes, their forests, their undercoats are extensive. You can soak Frank for about 10 minutes before she even gets, the water permeates her, so it was a gong show. It was a gong show, and then I had to figure out lighting, because welcome to the Pacific Northwest, where the sun doesn't come out ever during what I assume is winter. I'm told it's cold. Saw my neighbor picking up the mail, went out to get the mail. All our mailboxes are in a little row, and she's like, "How are you staying warm?" I'm like, it's 13 degrees Celsius. It may be raining, but it's 13 degrees Celsius, which is 40-something, 50-something? High 40s, low 50s, that's what we've been pulling. And it's just kind of I said to her, seriously, there's no snow, and I can't call it cold. It's chilly. I'll give you chilly, but I won't give you cold. However, it does get cold when I need to switch shoes, because I'm wearing my Toms. My Toms are my year-round thing, until the snow flies, and then you switch to boots. And that is not going to fly here, because it just soaks straight through your shoe, up into your sock and into your leg, and then you're friggin' cold. So anything I was working on during Fleagate, if you will, is currently in timeout, because the objects got pulled, the bags got separated, washing ensued, spraying ensued, freezing ensued. It's like a multi-prong approach. I will do anything to kill these fuckers. Pardon my language. If you have a small child, I'm sorry, but I always said I was explicit anyway. So that's been the last couple weeks for me. And it's not fun. It's especially not fun when you're dealing with 2 geriatric pets, of which you have to be exceptionally careful. However, due to the lack of undercoat and the fact that we had shaved Bop recently, they were the first to go free of any problems, and they have stayed problem-free. The big problem right now is Frank. She's always the biggest problem, right? The healthiest, the baby, who you forget is 17 years old, because she's so sprightly and full of spunk, is problematic. She seems to be the one. Also, if you happen to be like me and you let your pets in your bedroom, because, you know, the more things I can snuggle with, the better. And you happen to have one that sleeps directly on your head, on your pillow, and one that sleeps with their ass, like, in your ear, you will start thinking you've got fleas. Even if you don't have fleas, even if you neurotically check for fleas. That's why you buy new pillows and new pillowcases, and you put special covers on them, and you do all kinds of weird things. And subsequently, you don't sleep a lot, and you start going a little squirrely. So I'm a little squirrely. However, and my knitting mojo completely tanked during this whole process, right? Because it's like, crap, I can't knit the things I was knitting. I'm going to have to reblock everything that was around. Anything that they've laid on basically has to be reblocked and washed and treated. When you're me, that's a lot of stuff, okay? Problematic number 1, they like sleeping on knitting. Problematic number 2, I leave knitting in places they can sleep on. However, for some reason, thankfully, I don't know why the spirit hit me, but before we moved, I took all the shawls I hadn't worn in a long time, and I put them in plastic bags. I folded them up really nicely before we moved, and I put them in plastic bags. And all the plastic bags are in the bedroom. So stuff I haven't worn recently is safe. But oh my god, I've done so much laundry, I am so tired. That's enough ranting, but if you wondered where I was or why I am so stressed and why my knitting is going to be a gong show today, fleas. Plus, my husband had a double duty day this weekend. And duty days, if you don't know, because I had to explain to a family friend, which is kind of funny, because he's the military nut, he plays World of Flames and stuff like that, so I thought he'd know, and I explained, it means he's gone for 24 hours. So he was basically only home for half of Saturday last weekend, and the hish hit the fan last week, so of course the weekend I was still working extra hard and managed to re-injure my chest, which I had just recovered from. So yeah. November is taking a dump on me, and I'm not accepting of it. I'm smiling because if I weren't, I'd be crying. Those are my emotions. There's no winning this month. I'm so over this year. It's like, let's just go to 2016. 2015 has been a bitch. Again, sorry for the swearing. That's the last time I'm apologizing for swearing, even though I'm Canadian. Radio. I do have some works in progress, though. Because, like I said, I could start some new stuff. So out they came. In this lovely fiber space bag, which is the Knitwell, which is actually what the project came in, and it was a gift, and I should have brought the card. The card is actually somewhere up here. Put it up there because it's cute. There's a sheep on it. I'm such a hoarder sometimes. From a lovely fan. This is this skein of yarn. It is lollipop yarn. And stuff may be blown out because I'm experimenting with lighting, and so far this OT light pointed at the wall refracting is doing a decent job. So this is Java Jive, 8 rows of latte, 4 rows Arabica, 8 rows cappuccino, 4 rows Arabica, 75-25, approximately 420 yards. So I'm guessing she probably does cones. Just the dyer in me starts, thinking weird crap. And so doing them on US 1 2.25 millimeter needles over 64 stitches, because that's how I roll. These are for the hubby, as was instructed by the giver, and he is excited because he is running out of knit socks. He has worn them to the point that either the toes or the heels are gone. So either the bottom of the toe, for some reason the bottom of the toe, it always goes on people, and the heel. Personally, for me, it's usually the heel or the heel flap that gets bunked, unless Bebop attacks. But for him, it's either the heel or the toe. Lots of toe issue. So, and I'm kind of peeved because I wanted to finish my Dia de los Muertos socks, and happy thoughts. So I got the ribbing done. Traditionally I do 3 row or 3 color repeats, but I did the 4 because, the blacks are a short repeat. So now I'm into the cuff. I'm going to make it a standard 7.5 long before I do my waist yarn for my heel flap. I think this is pair 13 of 2015. I have 2 other pairs. I have the ones out of Fright Night by Leading Men in the showcase base, and I have the ones from Desert Vista Dye Works, the Dia de los Muertos, and then these. And so I think it's 12, 13, and this might be 14. This is either 13 or 14. My math is off right now. Deal with it, okay? I'm on my second cup of coffee. I believe it's 12:30. It says 2:30 on my thing, but that's because my computer's still on Minnesota time, and I actually have absolutely no concept of time because, of course, daylight savings time completely messed with me. I come from the province that doesn't change time, so when time changes happen, it's like, what's going on? All of a sudden, I turn into like, what's going on? This is crazy talk. So that's the start so far, which doesn't seem like much, but hey, it was a reinsurgence of my knitting mojo, so I'll keep it. That'll probably go with me to Canada. I'll probably be able to take all my sock knitting to Canada or anything I haven't finished because I really want to finish them. Really want to. Really, really want to. The other thing I'm going to take to Canada, side tangent, is before hubby went overseas, I had dyed up some, it's either the Haunted DK or the Wickedly Worsted. I think it's probably the Wickedly Worsted, but I had dyed some up special for him because he wanted a hoodie, and I found the hoodie. I will probably have to add a zipper. I think he wants a zipper. I think I can do that on the pattern. If I can do it easily, I will. If I can't, he's going to get a pullover and he'll deal with it. But he really wants it, and he's been bugging me. We're married now, so the boyfriend sweater curse is no longer. So I'll probably take that to Canada so I can knit it in secret, because I am devious like that. I could actually pull it out and start doing it tonight, but I really don't want to deal with balling or caking right now. Like, I am so over stuff in general. It's like, I could do it now, but I'd have to cake yarn. Not gonna happen. So I'll probably get that ready and take it with me to Canada. I'll be there for 9 days. I'll be, hanging out. I'll have lots of time to work on it. It's the Robin Hood hoodie. I've got it around here somewhere. Oh, it's over here. Hold on. Just say who it's by. Audrey Nicklin. It was part of a book, but you can buy the individual patterns, so I bought the individual pattern. And I actually only printed out the charts because I'm like, well, I can work from the pattern because I didn't want to have to print out 10 pages. But it's hold on one sec. I can bring it up on my iPad. Right? Like, that's what good podcasters do. We don't just, leave you hanging. But now I leave you hanging because I've got to look it up. Because everything else I had ready on my iPad was not involving that. But I have measured him. I had to re-measure him recently, actually, because I couldn't remember if he was one size or the other. And PQR. No, I don't want the skull mitts. I love the skull mitts, but that's not what I'm trying to bring up right now. It's called the Robin Hoodie, and someday it'll show up. What the frig? Oh dear, sweet, annoying iPad. Actually, it's not the iPad's fault, it's the, there we go. I am impervious to change, okay? If you haven't figured out by the fact that I craft, the archaic crafts, knitting, sewing, cross stitch, etc. I don't like moving things in terms of new apps. So while I have the new app for the PDF Expert or whatever, I like the old one because I know how to use it. I am such a Luddite. So anyway, here, no, don't enlarge. I just wanted to get rid of this. Go away. There we go. It's the Robin hoodie, and I already said who it's by. So it looks like this. Blair. Go back here. Wow, I don't know what it was. See, look, there's my computer. You can see me. Okay, so as you can see, it's just really cabled. It's a hoodie. And so where the cables split on the front there, see the cables where they kind of, where the hood meets, the hood points meet? It looks like you knit it down, like from the shoulders down or whatever, but that you join it after you've knit a bit. So I may just not join it. That may be the key. I haven't figured it out yet. I have the yarn. And again, there's 18 pages of it, so I wasn't going to print out 18 pages because I thought that was ridiculous, so I just printed out the charts, and that was still a lot of charts, but that's still better than 18 pages because, again, I don't like working from multiple charts on my iPad. One chart maybe, but I don't do like lace and stuff on my iPad. It just bugs the bejesus out of me. So that tangent is that I'm going to be knitting on that when I go to Canada, and I will probably show you later. I also found a brioche vest I want to make that I have the yarn for, which would go well with the brioche along, because I'm not brioching anything right now because it's being taken care of. And I have to finish it before I go, so that's going to be like, I'm going to finish it when I get there. That's probably what's going to happen. But whatever. The more presents I can leave at my mother's house, the better. In my 2nd Avenue swag bag, which I believe is Nightmare on Knit Street or something like that, you know, it's got skeletons. It's got skeletons and knitting, and dogs eating knitting, which is basically the story of my life. And a very cranky boy who's wearing the jumper from It that Pennywise wears. I am using Plucky in the 24 Blackbirds colorway, which was a church mouse yarn and tee it was made for. I don't actually know if it's like an exclusive colorway or not, or if it was just because it was made for that shop and it's something you can get. But it's in the Oxford colorway, which is a 75% merino, 25% cashmere. It looks like this. That's pretty true, except it's kind of purpley on my screen, and it's more close to like my hoodie gray. It's a gray-black. Really doesn't feel like cashmere. It should, but it doesn't. It's a little crispier than I normally assume cashmere to feel, but it could just be that it needs a wash. And that's probably going to be 90% of the reason why, I believe. Anyway. Don't quote me. So this is for my sister-in-law for Christmas. It's called Star Shower. It's by the Yarniad or Hilary Smith Callis. C-A-L-L-I-S. Calais. I don't know. Maybe she's French. And it looks like yarn. There we go. It's a cowl. It's got an interesting design. Let's see if I can get to the... Let me show you the schematic without showing you anything else in the pattern. Here you go. So as you can see, it's longer in the front and shorter in the back. So when you wear it in the front, it looks like that. It gives you kind of a slouchy thing. But in the back, it kind of opens up to give your neck a little more room. I had run this pattern past my sister-in-law a while ago, and she really enjoyed it. So I was like, yes, that is what I will knit. And then I had to go out and get a yarn because because I dress naturally in these colors, I tend to get yarn that is colorful, because then there's something colorful in my wardrobe. Because otherwise, if I knit in black, all you'd see is me with black on black. Or gray on black, or you know what I mean? Like, I have to do the weird colors elsewhere because my clothing is so monochromatic. So knitting in this gray has been, it's not too bad actually. So I am on the second section. I think I have one more, and then it joins itself, so that it goes like this. It'll go like this in the front. This will actually slouch. Slouch? Sloosh. It'll come in a little bit, and it'll kind of flop in. It'll be the flopsy-dopsy part. And eventually it'll meet up. The first time, this is the second time I did it, I actually did a bit and I ripped it out because it looked like butt. The first time I did it, okay. See this little part here? Yeah, I misread the repeat pattern. So I forgot like at least 10, maybe 20 yarn overs. So this part was like super runched in and it looked so bad. There was no way of fudging it out. So I had to rip it back, and now I'm much happier with it, and it looks cute, and it'll be nice and warm, and it'll go well for her office job. She does work in an office. She does need to look professional, and this is professional. And it is not crazy. And it is really good fabric, so she will really like it. And of course, how can you go wrong with merino cashmere? You can't. And so that was maybe a night worth of knitting, which was a good thing, which means it'll be quick. I want it to be quick. I want it to be done. I tell you every year to remind me not to craft for Halloween or for Christmas, and I do it anyway. So don't bother telling me anything because it doesn't work. I will still eventually end up crafting for Christmas because I'm crazy. I have no spinning to report to you, and quite frankly, I probably won't spin for a month or so. Probably not until the new year, just to make sure that all the fibers stay safe. I don't want to be knitting. I don't want to be spinning something with a cat in my lap and then have a flea. Okay, knitting I can wash, I can treat, I can do things with, but fiber, I'm not messing with fiber until I know I'm in the clear. It's just the way it goes. I did get something in the mail, which is very awesome. I'm letting it live in its plastic bag until I'm going to knit with it. And quite frankly, it's kind of what kickstarted my knitting mojo. My friend back home, Pam, who just got a new puppy, his name is Cooper. He's so cute and adorable. And it appears his sister Jo loves him. Jojo, Josie, the sweetheart. Just makes me think of my niece, because my niece is Josephine and we call her Josie. Anywho, she sent me this gorgeous handspun. It is yummy. Yummy! It needs to be a 2-color shawl. I'm pretty sure it's talking to me and it's saying 2-color shawl. It's 40-40-20 superwash merino tensile silk, which is why it's so shiny and lovely. Approximately 330 yards. I'd say it's a sport to a heavy fingering. Wouldn't take it down to a worse, I wouldn't bring it up past a sport. Wouldn't say it's a true fingering either, but God, it's gorgeous. Look at that. It's just shiny, yummy awesomeness. And it almost made me cry because I was having a bad day and I was like, that is so sweet and awesome. So there you have it. I love it. It is beautiful and it needs to be something. It kind of reminds me of Petrie because this orangey color in it, kind of like an orangey browny goldy color, you can kind of see, that's very much the color that is Petrie. So I'm thinking maybe I'll use the yarn that I have that was dyed like Petrie and it'll be very subtle. I don't know. I'm thinking. But either way, thank you, Pam. It's gorgeous and I am spoiled. And it made me happy. Well, I had a rough day. I will now set it up here. There will be much crunching. Much crunching. Now, because I wasn't knitting, I had to do something because sitting around on my butt really just doesn't work for me. I get really bored and I start like bouncing around. I'm really antsy. See, the thing is I can sit still and be completely still for an exceptional amount of time, but I either need to be like reading or doing something with my hands. I can't just sit and watch TV anymore. It's not an option. I have to be doing something in tandem with that. So I picked up some needlepoint. And my mom probably doesn't watch this, but if she does, she should go away right about now. Okay, I'll probably just shoot her off a text and be like, Mom, don't watch that anyway. But, so I have some finished objects from needlepoint, and I have some stuff I've been working on, so I'll show you those. The first thing I finished is this. It's just a little magnet guy. It was 97 cents at Walmart, but it's an owl. And I saw it and I was thinking, well, you know, that'd be a good get well soon for Mom. She can have a cute little owl magnet. So I did it up. It took like 2-3 nights. I hate French knots, by the way. I really do. And so that's going to be, when I go up to take care of her, I'm going to give it to her. Because who doesn't need an owl magnet? Crazy people, that's who. I know she'll like it, and it took me like 2 seconds. And then the other thing I finished, I'll show you the finished objects first, and then I'll move to the works in progress. The other thing I finished happened to be this, because I'm trying to make ornaments for everyone, right? I made one for my mom. It is a little owl with some snowflakes. This came as a free part of a kit that I've had for like at least a year. It's a cross stitcher. And the kit came so you can make 2 of these. And it came with the felt and it came with the even weave. And I've never used even weave before or linen. Usually I'm an Aida only person, which is, you know, sacrilege to a bunch of people on the floss tube community. Or some people in general just don't do Aida, or they think Aida is somehow subpar. But I am not. I like Aida. But this is my first ever even weave project, and I think I did pretty good. 2/1, or 2/2. Never done it before. And then I sewed the felt on the bottom. Again, it all came with the kit. It gave you enough even weave, enough felt, enough floss to do 2 of these, so I did 1 so far. And then I whip stitched it together off the template, put a little hangy thing on it. The back is just white felt, like the front tip here. It's cute. It's cute. I don't know which one, like there's several little woodland creatures you can pick, and I don't know which one I will pick to do for the other part of the kit. And I completely bunked the snowflakes, because in the pattern there's like 6 of them, and I did 2, and I was like, screw that, I'm doing 1 more to even it out, I'm done. And that is what I did. But that will be part of Mom's Christmas present. I have to cut out and sew into their little outline things, Auntie Arlene and Uncle Gary's. And I started on a 3rd one, but I didn't bring it in here. Probably going to do my brother and his wife, one of my brothers and his wives. Well, I have 2 brothers who each have 1 wife, because we're not polygamists. But, so one set of brother-wife combo, whatever. I'll probably do those 2 the same fashion as my aunt and uncles. The other family, okay, so my one brother, okay, everyone in my family, all of us kids have J names, even though I go by my middle name. So, my one brother married a woman who has a J name. They have a child with a J name, and then they have a child with an R name. On the other side of the family, it's JSIE or Z, depending on how you do it. Probably do the Z just because that's how it goes. But I I don't know, maybe I'll ask my sister-in-law about that. But if I want to do something that has like the initials, it's way easier to do it for the family that has all different initials as opposed to the 3 J's and an R. Just saying. So then, because I had worked on those and finished them, I felt like, okay, I can do whatever I want now, right? Because I had finished the Vespa, right? My in-laws better not watch this either. Damn. I said nothing there. They won't watch it. They're too busy anyway. They've got lots of life, fun things they're doing lately. So I worked on this, which is called Ravens, but I'm calling it Crows because I like crows. They're black birds. You can call them crows instead of ravens. And it is on perf paper, and that's how far I've gotten. Which isn't too bad. It's probably a little bit more than the last time I showed it to you. You can see 2 of the birds are getting in there. There is a lot of beading involved in this, actually. If you can see, all the purple is beading. Their eyes are beaded. These leaves are beaded. So there's just a lot of beading involved. I've never bed? What is beaded? What is the appropriate term when you're referencing to bead? To bead or not to bead? Wait, what is the past tense of beading? I have never bud? There's an English major out there right now yelling at me. Or maybe it's Laura. I'm sure someone knows the answer. But anyway, I have never done beading. There we go. At least then I don't have to worry about the appropriate tense. I've never done beading in cross stitch before. My mother and my aunt have done numerous things that require beads. I have not. So I'm quite interested to do it. It's scary as all get out, but I think that I'm at a point where I need to really just expand my horizons. And right now in knitting, I've expanded as far as I can go without causing sheer insanity. For the time being anyway, because I have so many things that need to get done, but I can't touch them right now. That is just like, whatever. I'll challenge myself with cross stitch. If anyone has a problem with that, they can suck it. I don't know what the proverbial it is that people suck, but maybe the Bikini Kill version, suck my left one. I don't know. Suck a lemon. Unless that makes you happy. Suck something you don't like, maybe an avocado. And then I started on this because I wanted to do something that didn't require beading. And I wanted to experiment with gridding because I had seen people grid, and I kind of gridded crappily. This grid is off, okay? I know how it's off, so I can offset for it, but even after watching videos and trying to figure... the blocks are not truly 1/10. They go over by 1. And you can see where they go over by 1. And that's just my own dang fault for being stupid. But it's a first attempt at gridding. And it has helped me, even though I have screwed up a few places. But, like, I mean, you won't notice this. And this is fun. It's just blocks of color. I'm doing it on 18 count Ada that I got at Goodwill. Found it at Goodwill for 99 cents. I couldn't pass it up. It's the right size for this piece. Hopefully I have enough edging to frame it. If I don't have enough edging to frame it, I will just sew it into a wall hanging, and that's fine too. So that's how far I've gotten. It is the Happy Bat by Alessandra Adelaide Needleworks. Here, I'll pull it out of the thing so you don't have to deal with the glare. There it is. It uses something like 11 colors. It's 265 wide, 158 high. That's stitch count. My mom bought it for me when we went to Stitchville, USA in Minnesota. It was great. She actually bought me the crows too, so apparently I'm having a I need to do all the cross stitches my mummy bought me moment, which is also fine. This is a relatively thin Ada. It's not as stiff as it's vintage. Again, the 99-cent vintage Ada. It's very floppy. It's not at all like the kind you would buy at the store. So I read somewhere that you could put felt under your Q-snap to make it stay better. And I don't have any felt laying around. I'm not a felter. I wasn't going to felt something just so I had it there. So I just put little leftover pieces of Warm and Natural or whatever, the batting I use for quilts that I had left over, which I save in case I want to make pillows or something. I just put those under there, and it actually does work. Like, this ain't moving. So if your Q-snap moves too much and it bugs you, just take some batting, or apparently some felt, and there you go. And it will no longer bug you. I just flip this over when I'm up there, because I don't want to cut it off in case I need to readjust. It's just how I roll. So that's coming along nice, and it actually is relaxing for me. I've got my little needle minder from Gina's Unique Boutique, which is on Etsy. It's got a bat on it, because bats need other bats, apparently, in my life. Need to get back to the frosted pumpkin, but I'm enjoying the bat, and then when I needed a break, I made this. So I didn't intend this to be so long. I was actually going to throw in some reviews, but at 36 minutes, I feel you've had enough of me, that all you need is really encapsulated in this episode. Before I go, I'd like to recommend another podcast, because that's what I do occasionally, and it's a lot easier than doing a book review, which I will give to you next week. Next week there will be a book review. Probably record on Thanksgiving, because I don't know any better, because I'm stuck on Canadian Thanksgiving, and I'm Native American, or whatever you guys want to call me, and we don't really... I like eating bird, but that's about it. We don't give thanks for crap, because of course, blah, 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 political rant over. Okay, but I would like to recommend another podcast, which I happened to cross, because I've been watching some FlossTube to intersperse with my knitting podcast, because of course, you've got podcasts that are on hiatus, like Yarn Raising, or whatchamadoodle, Knitting in Circles, who haven't recorded in a while. They may have recorded today, but I haven't checked yet today, so I don't know. But there are several that are running behind, or are just not updating, or not updating with... Apparently there's a lull. We're all experiencing a lull, and it'll come back someday. But, so I've been playing around with FlossTube, because I like watching FlossTube and seeing what other people are doing, just like I like watching knitting blogs, or knitting podcasts, like so forth and so on. So I found one, and she's actually a knitter and a cross-stitcher, and not gonna lie, I kind of want to be her friend. I don't know her personally, I just love her personality. I like watching her videos, I find her very entertaining, and so if you like cross-stitch or watching cross-stitch talk, or even knitting, occasional knitting talk, she's awesome. She's also a doula. Her YouTube name, I don't know what her Ravelry name is, but I assume it may be the same as her YouTube name, which is Julicious, J00Licious, Julicious. She's awesome, so go check her out. Very rambly, but her taste is very similar to my taste, so she says things, and I'm just, yes! Like The Big Lebowski, or just any of, like, her rants are very me. I'm just like, oh, you're so awesome, you mentioned hockey. It's okay, I know you like the Flyers, because you're from Philly, it's okay, at least you like hockey. So, go check her out, she's a lot of fun, and aside from that, I have nothing more to report. I will be back next week, probably more closer to midweek. It all depends. Next weekend, hubby has a long weekend, so I'm going to be probably useless for the weekend, but I believe he has Thursday, Friday off. I don't know. I don't know anything. I'm a really crappy Navy wife sometimes. But I will see y'all next week. I hope this was enough of an update, and I hope next week I can show you finished objects that have been freed of their flea friends.